Welcome to the weather forecast for the week beginning Wednesday, August 25th, 2021. I'm Chief Meteorologist John Ensworth for Longmont Public Media. I'm again still on remote, but someday I'll be back in front of a green screen. Our third quarter moon is Sunday, August 29th. We are at the end of this month. It's incredible how fast time is going. This moon will rise around midnight, just visible in the morning and pre-dawn sky. Taking a look at drought conditions, last week had some bad stuff still up in the northwest, down in the Four Corners area, and slight bit of drought starting to show up in the northeast plains. As we go to this week, it's gotten just a touch worse out there, with some abnormally dry conditions showing up just to the northeast of town. The western slopes didn't change from last week to this week. Looking nationally, not much changes in the west across the northern states going from last week to this week. It's a touch worse in spots. The heat is still on, and with this ridge, as we'll see, establishing itself across the center of the nation, maybe just some spots closer to the Pacific Northwest will see a change. Locally, for rainfall, we have some heavier rains that occurred up in the eastern part of the state. Some really severe local flooding occurred. Let me step over here for just a second. So, better I take care of that than have something go off right there. Sorry about that. I'll take a look at the I-25 corridor. We do have some pretty good rains. We got a couple of shots of water that gave us an inch and a half. My backyard topped an inch of water. It overflowed the center rain gauge measuring tube into the overflow area. The mountains in the west got some good water again. So even though the northwest didn't get as much, there's some falling, and these drought-stricken areas got some relief as well. So the big picture, before we get to the animations, is this huge high-pressure system right here. Central southern plains, just roasting things away. It's been very cool there with the ridge out west, so this is some of the first real heat of this summer. Ridge extending up over us into the Pacific Northwest and up into the eastern Great Lakes. There's a trough out here that we'll have to keep an eye on. There's Bermuda High out over the Atlantic. Look at moisture. There's remains of Henri coming up here. Here is the moisture coming up and then up into the mountains of the west and a little bit of flow off the Pacific. Taking a look at the Thursday's model moisture. This is precipitatable water, and the precipitated water has come up east of us and a little bit to the western side of the mountains. Stuff along the eastern plains pretty dry. We do have good news with that high pressure right over this part. The entire atmospheric flow is up and over the top of Colorado. You do see some smoke coming down with a weak cool front, kind of pooling right up along I-25, but the rest of the state not too bad. Overall, I'm seeing less of the purples, large regionally spread, extremely dense amounts of smoke. So maybe there's some improvement in fire intensity as well. So going to the surface, I'll put the mouse about where Longmont is, right there. You can see this cool front spread down, deposits some smoke that then kind of easterly slopes up against the mountains, and there just kind of lingers for a bit. So you'll see that. You'll see the haze take away the mountains over the next day or two. But for now, enjoy the clear views and blue sky. Haven't talked about severe weather probability much recently. We don't have much since we're deep in the summer. Jet stream is pretty much north. Cold air is up in Canada, and there was storm chasers getting tornadoes up in Canada just a few days ago. So, but down here in the United States, we have very minimal chance right along I-25. It's not impossible, but it's just not likely end of August. What we really are going to get, though, is a marginal risk, almost back to Denver for Wednesday. Isolated storms. There's not a lot of moisture around. You can see things are completely dry in the Four Corners area, no storms going up. But if something does form, some high winds and some hail are possible in the northeast plains for Wednesday. For Thursday, we have a slight risk up in Nebraska and up in Montana, and out in the plains, a marginal risk of the same conditions. And going to Friday, we have a chance of thunderstorms. Each day, though, pretty widespread and isolated. Over the next 10 days, we are starting to see the normal high temperatures really drop from 86 to 83. We've been seeing temperatures in the low 90s, so we're starting to see temperatures under this ridge about 5 to 10 degrees above normal. And until that moves out, that's going to be the story. Looking at 56 down to 53 at night, so the nights are getting nice. 40s can't be far away. For Thursday, Sunday, and Monday, a slightly elevated chance of showers. We have a cool front coming down on Thursday, and similarly a shortwave trough cool front coming in at the end of the weekend. You see a bit of a cool down Sunday and Monday, a bit of a cool down Thursday with those little ripples. I guess you could look at it as fall is trying to set the stage for itself. Eventually, September 20th or so, we will officially transition to astronomical fall. So the next sort of important change would be Sunday, that Sunday-Monday system. You can see there's nothing strong coming in, but this little ridge is kind of west of us. We have more zonal flow, which is air going straight from west to east over the state, and that is going to depress the heights, let a little cool air in, maybe bring a little moisture in. This is the interesting thing we'll end with today. It's like a tropical system is starting to crank in the western Gulf by the weekend to threaten the Texas-Louisiana coastline next week. So when that comes ashore, where it comes ashore, will possibly really change the weather around here. It doesn't show up yet in the ensembles, but Friday noon next week, so a week and a half from now, anything could happen. This does not have to verify at all, so don't go running around saying next Friday we're going to get a ton of moisture around here. In this model run, the hurricane that forms is pretty significant, and it hits between Corpus Christi and Houston, actually comes up and dumps its moisture in New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Colorado. This moisture on the western side is a blob coming in ahead of a trough. So if that were to happen, if all of those things came to be like the model thought then we could be seeing significant rain around here next weekend, not this weekend. But we'll take a look at that and see what the National Hurricane Center is thinking. So going out, here's our ridge in the center of the nation. Here's our trough passing Thursday to Friday, giving us a little cool front. By Saturday, got the ridge out east, the ridge kind of sliding by at the beginning of next week. Here comes that tropical system, and wow, that's a pretty big monster slamming in really close to Corpus, coming across West Texas, a giant ridge heating us up, and then as the trough comes in the west, Friday, September 3rd, it dumps its moisture into the flow, and that gets sucked up right over eastern Colorado, and well, most of Colorado actually. Taking a look at temperatures, looking at our Thursday cool front coming down, there you go. The storm's kicking off with it. See the cool air making it into Kansas, but not much further. By the weekend, we're on a belt of hot air again. Another cool front Sunday and Monday, sneaking down the eastern plains, not getting over the mountains. It passes. The heat comes back on Tuesday. Now we're into Wednesday next week. There comes that tropical system. Lots of abnormally cool air under that, as that blob kind of loses its way to the west, and it gets pulled into the westerlies away. So let's look at that moisture. You start out very dry, except western Colorado, and with that cool front on Friday, a moisture band sweeps over. We get elevated chance of showers, and that is gone. And then going into Sunday, we get another little cool front down, moisture gets pulled back on the easterlies. Here's a tropical system off the Baja, and here comes that big tropical system, unnamed at this time. It really doesn't exist quite yet, up into West Texas and northern Mexico, and then the moisture just pulls into the trough. Really thick amounts of water. Finally, we'll look at the animation for the future radar. And we see the Friday storm, ripple come through, little storms. Saturday dry, storms south of us. Going to Sunday, we have another low form, a little bit of upslope. That was quick. If you blinked and missed it. There come our two systems down here. Going to Tuesday. And Wednesday, we're high and dry in Colorado. And what's interesting is that this moisture still kind of misses us. There's the western slopes getting storms on Friday. Moisture pulls in, interacts with the front, and then it's gone. So we'll see what happens with all that. Over the next 5 days, northwestern 2/3 of the state virtually rain-free. So random little storm or two, shower, I was going to say. Over the next 10 days, south of us, some monsoonal flow, but not so much in the northern half of the state. So we've seen 90s going into just upper 80s to lower 90s Thursday, and then Friday we're up again. Saturday, Sunday, the trough kind of goes by, knocking us back into the 80s, and then we begin to recover to abnormal levels of heat Monday and Tuesday. For Thursday, there's a better chance of showers. I'm not really elevating it much for Saturday, Sunday. You can see the cool down. Doesn't look like a lot of moisture gets acted upon. Okay, we'll end with some really speculative model runs here of what is called Invest 99L, because they're investigating this. It is a little loose collection of thunderstorms with a little bit of circulation, but not really a tropical system yet. And different models kind of take it up here. If it goes due west, it dies. If it goes to Yucatan, it doesn't gain much strength. If it does steer clear of all the land, this one has it actually heading for the Texas-Louisiana border, which is very different than the model one that we just looked at earlier. Taking a look at the DEFS tracks, you can see the central pressure. The more red and purple it gets, the more of a major hurricane it could be. And you can see it's all over the place. And this thing is so new and unformed that really anything from Florida to Mexico is a possibility, which you don't need a computer model to see that. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. When we do a briefing next week, it will be underway. It'll be either very close to making landfall or will have already done so, all likelihood. We can also forecast future strength. Just make a plot of those central pressures, and most of the model runs keep it in a tropical storm category. This one brings it up into category 1, but a couple take up to category 2, category 3, which is very significant. So it's so early to know and say what is going to happen and where it's going to go and how strong it'll be. It's not even a named storm yet. So stay tuned to local weather. Also take a look at the weather column I write at the Longmont Leader. I will be keeping an eye on that there. I'm putting that in the long-range forecast as well. Whenever significant nationwide weather occurs, that can be forecasted, then I cover it. I didn't take care of the Midwest flooding beforehand because that was kind of a regional event. This has been Chief Meteorologist John Ensworth for this week's weather forecast. Keep looking up.